This is going to be a quick tutorial on how I made a few changes to my FORScan using FORScan. First things first, go to the website and download the software to your favorite laptop, forscan.org. I downloaded the first link there, beta version 2.3.34. In order to make any changes using FORScan, you have to use their extended license. They have a very unique extended license registration where you log in or you register to their forum, you get approved in a day or two from a moderator, and then you can keep clicking on that extended license link every 2 months and it expires. You do it another 2 months. But if I'm not going to make that many changes to my vehicle, I probably will never go back and do an extended license. But for the purposes of this video, I downloaded the software, I registered to their forum using the second link, and then the third link I go in and I get their registration key. Fast forward in this video to I have FORScan, I have the key activated, and now I'm going to connect to the vehicle. In the description, I'm going to put a link to the OBD2 reader / scanner that I bought, OBD Link EX, and right now it's connected to my OBD2 port, which is near your the bottom left of your steering wheel, where your left kneecap would be, behind one of the doors. I have my cob access port always connected to that OBD2 port, but I disconnected it for the purposes of this video, so it is connected now. Once you make the changes using FORScan and that OBD link, you never have to keep it connected. You can put your cob access port or whatever else back on the port. So right now, laptop's fired up. I'm going to go ahead and turn the key in the on position, and let's see what happens. When you fire up the software for the first time after you have registration, there are a few icons. First, you need to connect to the vehicle. Click the car icon in the top left corner. Go to the bottom. Click on this icon to connect to vehicle. A couple of screens are going to pop up. Make sure that the ignition key is in the on position or the button is pushed like I just did. My OBD link has an automatic switch, electronic switch. Other OBD links, like the one listed here, has a physical switch where you have to go through to different high speed and medium speed or whatever that stands for on the CAN bus. But if you get the version that I bought, then you don't have to do any switching yourself. Next up, it's going to say that the adapter is not optimized. We're going to tell it to change the baud rate as it sees fit. It's connected to the vehicle. If you've done this multiple times, then you can use your existing profile. I have a profile in here for my F-150, and now it's showing that I have a profile already for my FORScan. If this is your very first time, it's going to say, would you like to create a new profile? So basically you're going to say yes. It connects to the vehicle, it loads up all of the modules, and I can tell you from the notes that I've taken, the very last module to load is the IPC module. So once you see IPC and one more line of code there from the data log, you're good to go. Next up, we need to go through and back up everything before we make any changes. I'm only going to show you in one of the modules, and you can copy paste that for all of the others, but there is a listing of all of the as-built modules in the vehicle. First one would be your PCM, and I'll show you how to back that up on your laptop before you make any changes. Click on the module, go to the very bottom, click Run or the play button. It's going to log in, changing. There's going to be a message that shows up and says basically do it at your own risk. Make sure you've got everything backed up. You can read that if you need to. And here are all the parameters in the PCM. Don't make any changes unless you've seen spreadsheets online. There are vehicles out there that have very detailed spreadsheets, like F-150s, where you can do Bambi mode and for fog lights on with high beams, things of that nature. For the FORScan, there really isn't much out there, but I will show you two things that I've changed. but it's not in the PCM. So for this as an example, before you make any changes on any of these modules, in each individual one, go in and click Save All. In the Forescan software, as you can see, I already have 2 folders. I've saved everything for my F-150 in the first folder, and the second would be the FORScan. Pretty self-explanatory. And basically, I would label this as PCM. You would continue on and label it as you see fit. After you're done saving, you can make changes. We'll go back. This tab on the top shows the modules again. And a trick, instead of going through and figuring out what those parameters are, there is a cheater way that you can go in and look at a drop-down menu of changes that are available. The one that I looked at and found yesterday was the body module, body CM, central configuration main. Click that once. Go down to run or play. Now, there's a secondary bootloader that has to happen. You want to make sure that you've got a charger connected to your FORScan or your F-150 or whatever you're using for Forescan. And if it doesn't have the file, you're going to have to locate it on a website. I've already downloaded it, but I'll show you how to do that if it comes up again. Basically say OK. It's going through. A couple of little warnings pop up. This is pretty much the same kind of information screen you have whenever you tune your car. You flash it with a cob access port. Now it's telling me to turn the ignition off. I'm going to click OK. And this is the central configuration screen. Another user on the forum went through this exact process in a very lengthy video. You can check his out. I'll put that in the description. But 2 things that I've changed on mine, the only 2. Fog light function. This is what I have right now. Fog lamp without restrictions. Double click here. You can choose fog light without high beam headlamp. This is what it was from the factory. So anytime a person from the US, not sure if this is Europe or not, if it's applicable, but in the United States, whenever we hit the high beams, the fog lights shut off. So this was number 3 for me from the factory. I changed it to number 2. I clicked OK, and because it's not going to show us a screen here because I've already done it, but there's no changes. The next thing that I tried and actually worked, I didn't have to change any hex code or anything like that on the spreadsheets. I scrolled down. This menu has tons and tons of options. The second and only other parameter that I changed, and I was very ecstatic when it worked, tire pressure monitoring system. For my FORScan, I keep the miles down because I trailer it to a lot of events, and I always have the inky race wheels with my Potenza RE71Rs on it. My factory wheels and tires are in the garage, so without having tire pressure monitoring system, if I drove my car for several miles, the TPMS light would come on. Well, this is how you delete it. Under TPMS, originally this setting had value number 5, TPMS with tire sensors on 4 wheels. I changed it to not configured. I clicked OK. Now, with the fog light and the TPMS, once you make those changes, you would click write. Since I haven't made any changes to this, it's going to say, why do you want, we didn't make any changes. But you write it to the ECU, and once it's done, click stop. It writes it, and you're good to go. Now, taking a step back, going to my browser, Whenever you click on the configuration screen and it says it needs to do a secondary boot device, if it can't find the driver, this is where you find the file. I'll put a link in the description. Ford Tech dealer connection. If you're missing any of these calibration files, you enter exactly what FORScan is asking you for, which this is the one that was missing on my FORScan on my configuration file. I put that name, that file name specifically. I hit download file. It saved it locally on my laptop. I went back, I told FORScan where it was, and it was able to log in to that configuration screen on my ECU. Lastly, I'll put a link in the description. Tons of links here. But the Forescan Forum, this is where I found out some of the items. There's tons and tons and tons of how-tos on how to do this. But specifically, this was the error that came up on mine whenever I was trying to do that secondary bootloader to open up the configuration, and it said cannot find this file. So I went in, I copy-pasted the one that you saw. This one's a little bit different. Downloaded it, and everything was fine. That's it in a nutshell. Go through at your heart's content, make any changes. Please make damn sure that you save all of your as-builts. Also, because this is not an as-built module, as you can see, this is a central configuration. Make sure that you save a copy of this as well. I didn't save anything else other than the as-builts and this one main file. But when you run it again, it's loading. I'll show you one last time on this module because it's not an as-built. Let it progress through. Turn the vehicle off again. Although mine's been modified, I will show you. You could save this as an original file. This one, instead of an ABT, is a CCT. So I saved it as central configuration.cct. I recommend saving these in multiple spots. Save it on a thumb drive, save it on your local hard drive. Just keep multiple backups in case something happens. So that's it. I'm going to continue to go through and see if there are any tips and tricks in this software. I don't know if we can also turn the airbag light off for some of those folks that have race seats, but let us know. Post to the forums, see if you find anything else. But this is so much easier going through this central configuration than trying to change as-built data with changing hex values and just hoping for the best. This is something that you can also find on the internet. There is a software in Russia called FOCCC US, Focus, I guess, and it basically sends you to this screen. Well, you can do this with FORScan. FORScan's free. The only thing that costs in order to do this is to download or purchase from Amazon or another retailer the OBD link. But that's it. Let me know if you have any questions through the forum. Thanks.